Let's chat about buyers' do's and don'ts and how to better serve them.
Yeah, the buyers, there's some new data out, and the buyers are evolving, and we in the industry need to make sure that we can evolve too. So my name is Alan Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Max One Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm a compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
So we come across a lot of data points dealing with our buyers today, and some of them are kind of new, and some things that we just want to make sure that the folks in the real estate industry are kind of prepared for what we see going on and just conscious. So first thing is that our buyers right now are looking beyond our local market. 1 in 5 buyers are looking outside of their
Mhm.
traditional market. Almost 20% are willing to go outside of what would have been normal areas.
Or convenient.
But mainly because of affordability. They're looking for affordability. One thing that the buyers know is that some days you have to, or sometime you have to drive to qualify. And what we see is that unfortunately, a lot of our buyers are being more creative about that than a lot of the agents are. So make sure that you are considering all the options that might fit the affordability that your clients have.
Correct.
Yeah. So one other thing that is kind of a big deal out there is this huge untapped renter to buyer pipeline. Yes, we have a lot of baby boomers that are definitely buyers right now, but still one of the biggest segments that continues to fuel housing in general is first time buyers. And those first time buyers, where are they coming from? They're coming from renting in most cases, right?
Absolutely.
And so for a lot of agents, they can convert,
About 10%.
yeah, about 10% of the renters into a buyer. And so, but a lot of times agents don't even really acknowledge renters. They kind of treat renters like, oh, you're a renter, peasant. Right? I'm not saying they actually come out and say that, but it kind of comes across as like we're not looking to service
The
our renters.
motivation for renter is less than the motivation
Yeah.
for buyers. And what they're missing is the opportunity gap. About 46% of agents do not have renter to own buy program. This is a good program for anybody who is may come across a renter. And basically just giving some guidelines. Talk to your lender because your lender can give you that
Yeah.
guideline as well.
And then a lot of agents don't stay in touch with those past rental clients. That is like an important pipeline.
They're the one that's for sure and guaranteed that's going to buy in the future.
Yeah. We want to talk about discounting here really quickly because there is something really interesting going on right now that can be very profitable for you as well as for your
Mhm.
clients. And so, right now, the average home buyer, just a typical buyer, run of the mill, nothing special here, they score a 7.9% discount. So, that's kind of the average discount amount right now. 2/3 of all buyers last year got some kind of a discount. 62% got some sort of discount on there. Now, the best discounts are actually being found in condo sales.
Mhm.
So those are a really good place. However, the place where we see the biggest impact as far as volume is in townhomes. Townhomes has been the place where you're getting more for your money.
And the reason being is that townhome secure affordability and is no longer the average townhome that we grew up in. And it's got a lot more amenities, a lot more area for the
Yeah,
kids, even dog park and some of those. And the beauty of it is that you don't have to maintain a whole lot of yard.
yeah. Now, in I just pulled all the data just for Georgia, and so in Georgia, the median list price is around $420,000 for a single family home. For a townhome, the median list price is $348,000. So we're talking about a pretty steep discount. Now,
It
on
is
what they actually
well
sell for is a lot different. Yeah,
value
yeah.
difference.
Yeah, the median sale price for a single family home is $372,000, whereas the median sale price for a townhome is $340,000. So basically, it comes down to this: on average, and I know that there's high end townhomes,
Mhm.
I get that, but on average, townhomes tend to run about 10% less than single family homes. If you just lump them all together, you see that townhomes have about a 10% savings compared to single family homes.
Correct.
And that's why this is such a great place to look at for our
First
first.
time home buyers.
Yep. Yep. Now, one thing that we want to kind of, we brought all that up to kind of talk about this point, and that is lowballing is back, baby. Okay. But you got to be careful because you can lowball and insult a seller, and they're like, "Bye, Felicia." So, like, even though we saw that a lot of homes did score discounts, that kind of stuff, we need to understand how to lowball. And when I say lowball, and maybe lowball is a bad word for it, but
How to structure your offer to where it's not offensive, but at the same time get the discount that you need.
right, right. How to secure discounts for your buyers. I think it sounds a lot more palatable than lowballing. But, we are talking about going back to old school haggling. And the reason this is so important, if you haven't been in the business since 2012, so if you haven't been in business at least 13, 14 years, you've never seen a balanced or a buyer's market. You've only seen a seller's market. And so these are some skills that some of our agents have never had to kind of exercise, never had to play with. So we want to give you like really four main tips for being able to secure discounts. And the first thing is you don't want to go out and discount the new listing, right? That's not the one that you're going to get a real big discount on. So if you look for high days on market, that's one that's probably open to some offers coming in. Those brand new listings coming out of the gate, sellers are not really ready
No.
to jump onto those. So look for longer days on market. When you do speak to the agent, second point here, don't dog the property. Don't be like, oh, this house is a dump. This thing's a piece of whatever kind of thing, right? It's not about going and insulting the seller, insulting the listing agent. That really doesn't help you at all.
Well, stick with the facts and explain to them why you are off making an offer price the way you are, and just let them know what your estimate cost would be. Now, the house was listed at fair market value, then you know that going in, you have to make certain adjustments. So the seller can either say, "I don't want the adjustment. This is the amount I want," which is fine, but understand that house is going to be on the market much, much longer, if not going to be there. If market shift any way, form, shape, they're going to be the highest listing
Yeah.
price over there.
Well, but Ming's talking about the third data point, and that is know your numbers. When you know your areas, when you know your numbers, it can really be a huge benefit. Last thing, pull comparable sales and listings.
Mm-hmm.
When you use your comps, like it's not about me trying to beat you down, right? It's that, you know what, you're listed for $440,000. All the recent sales in this neighborhood were right at 400,000. So why would my buyer want to pay $40,000 more than what the median sale price in this neighborhood is running now?
Correct.
That's a very different conversation than just being like, your house is stupid, right? That's not going to help you at all.
Well, also another thing you want to consider is the square footage. And if you're in a PUD area where there's multiple phases in that subdivision, you might want to look at the age of the home, yeah, because it makes a difference.
Now, one other area, or we want to start getting into a few data points here. So right now, our average first-time buyer is actually our buyers in general, much, much older. So our average buyer average first-time buyer, is almost 40. Our average repeat buyer, 62. I mean, like that's
well, if you think
buyer
about
segments are much older than they were.
Are most likely those folks has owned their home and it's paid
Boomers,
off,
yeah,
and so therefore they can take that asset and equity and put down another property and without feeling the stress of the monthly mortgage or high, because they probably can't afford a $3,000 monthly mortgage.
Well, what's crazy is if you look at what our average buyer ages were, like right before COVID hit, the average first time buyer was 33. The average repeat buyer was 55. So we're talking about buyers that are getting that are substantially older.
And the reason being is affordability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that is the key.
Yep. Now, when asked buyers, hey, what are the factors that are really important in buying a home? So first up, they want commute, which is interesting because we hadn't seen commute happening as big a deal. But the one that really impacts is our first time buyers. Next is feeling that the home really represents who they are. a lot of folks are still working from home, some or
Hmm.
to some percentage. And so the home is now the water cooler as well. You're going to spend, some folks are going to spend a lot of time there. Um, and then they really care about opinions from friends and family. It really is a pretty
And
big deal
sometimes
out
mom
there.
and dads.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it does
Yep.
matter. So when you deal with buyers, sometimes understand, but mom and dad is an or family member is an equation. You may want to think about that as well when you're dealing with a buyer. And sometimes it's, sometimes when you're having a discussion with them, the family factor comes in and it totally throw you off because it's the exact opposite what the buyer's telling you to do.
Now, 1 in 3 buyers became attached to a home before they actually saw it in person. Like, this is a big deal. This is why we say
Huge.
use a photographer,
Hmm.
because no one falls in love with a home
That's not,
that doesn't look amazing, right?
and I know Apple phone or your Droid phone takes great picture, but
Not
nothing
real
beats a
estate.
professional photography. And you don't have to pay an arm and leg for it, but do get someone that can um, make the image a little bit better than what it is through your with a little bit of filter with your instead of your phone, because I can tell you sometimes you as an agent may not know a best angle to shoot to get maximize that space.
Yeah. Now, especially for our first time buyers, they are overlooking some things that are like red flags. The most common red flags that our buyers are missing out on. Number one,
Closet space,
storage.
storage,
Exactly. Yep. Number two, just overall size of the home.
well, it's affordability.
Yeah, yeah. Outdated appliances is another one, because nobody wants to have a house and have your refrigerator die next week.
Right.
Sloppy craftsmanship, workmanship. The house just, like when you see that kind of stuff, being able to point that out to your clients is really important. And then talking about HOAs. HOAs is one of those, like, a lot of homes, 43% of properties in Georgia have an HOA, but understanding what that's like to live inside an HOA is an
Correct.
important thing. Yep. Now, when you talk about the factors that really do affect them, safety, price,
Neighborhood.
location, size, budget, all those are the still, and
Still important to the
right,
buyers.
right. Now, one good thing for us is that most buyers almost always use an agent. It hasn't gone down. The number of people using a buyer's agent has actually increased. Now, half the folks that um, used the first agent that they met, over half. So, for you as a buyer's agent, what do you need to be?
First impression is
First.
important.
You need to
Yes.
be, show up first, be the first person out there, but know your craft and know what you're really doing on there. Now, after an agent's been hired, most buyers communicate with their agent at least once a week. This is an important factor because we see that a lot of times agents treat buyers incredibly passively. Oh, call me when you find a house, do this kind of stuff. Good buyers agents, they're talking with their clients at least once a week. And if you're not, you need to set up systems to make sure that you are doing that.
Absolutely.
Now, when buyers say, or when we ask buyers, hey, what's most important and valuable agent services? And this one, honestly, it bothers me on a deep and emotional level, right? Because what the things that they need help with or that they count most valuable is paperwork, the details of my offer. Um, Paperwork to me is not the most important factor. That says that we're not doing a good job of explaining the process and teaching our clients all the way
All right.
through. I see this also as being a problem with Authentisign and digital signatures. I think that agents are very quick to just automatically send over, hey, I just
Well,
sent you
and
this document, hit the
assume,
button.
yeah, and
Yep.
assume the buyer know what they're looking at. So, Alan's taught before, if you are doing that, make sure you go over the offer with them in PDF before they sign off on it.
Yeah, I mean, you can still call them and say, when you get this email, let's talk. I can still walk them through. Old school, like we would sit across the table from you and we go through the whole offer together. We'd explain everything and answer any questions. And now I see where folks be like, hey, I just sent this to you, hit the button. That's not really helping out
Correct.
our clients. Now, open houses continue to be a big deal for our buyers. The average buyer attends at least one open house. Now, right now, 15% of buyers attend 3 or 4 more open houses. we see where more and more people are attending open houses, and part of this is due to the NAR lawsuit. I feel because what happened is from the lawsuit, we now have to have a buyer brokerage agreement prior to showing any
Hmm.
homes. And if you're a buyer and you don't have anyone that you trust yet, and you want to see a house, what do?
You sign a temporary
Well, I mean,
buyer brokerage
you
agreement.
go look, you go to open houses because you don't have to sign an agreement to go to open houses.
You don't.
And so, like that's a great chance to build rapport and engagement, and just I mean, it's a great chance for a relationship out there. Now,
The time for a buyer to search for a home, typically less than 1 month. There's only 11%. 1 to 2 months, about 18. 2 to 3 months, about 19. 3 to 4 months, about 15. Believe it or not, for 6 months or more is about 22%. So on the average, median time that the buyer look for a home is about 3 months.
this is an important factor because if you have a buyer that, or if you as an agent are taking more than 3 months, there's a good chance your client's going to fire you.
Hmm.
That's what your buy window really is. And again, we said it earlier. Too many buyers agents are very passive with their buyers. When you get very intentional at helping your buyers get into a home, you're gonna win. But if you just leave them sitting out there on their own, eventually they're going to give up on you. They're going to say, you know what, you can't do it.
Yep.
My agent couldn't do it. Now, one of the big things that we really want to wrap up here with is that for our buyers, this is a very emotional and very serious time in their life. For us, it can be very much business as usual. If you've been in the business for a long time, it's very easy to be like, you're just buying a house. We do this all the time. You may do this all the
That's
time,
our industry.
right?
Yes.
But as an agent, you have to understand how scary that can feel for a buyer. I
They're
mean,
committing a large sum of money of their paycheck every month. Granted, maybe less than what they're paying in rent. Okay,
yeah,
but the thing is, it's still the home ownership, the maintenance, the taking care of it, the responsibility is something all new to them,
yeah,
and for them, it's a scary point of view. And so, just that take that in consideration. Please walk them through the whole process, and not only that, go to closing, because
yeah,
that is your last time to present yourself in a manner to leave a lasting impression. So don't be dismissive or uncaring, because I can tell you right now, for those that acts like, well, I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have time for that, I can spend my time prospecting. Well, you know what? Serving that client and leaving a lasting impression will generate you more referral
yeah.
and less prospecting. So serve them well.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of our buyers, they don't know what so much of this is. Is my credit good enough? Do I have enough down payment? How do I trust an agent? How do I find an agent? How do I find the home? How do I not miss out? How do
How
I
do I
not
find a
overpay?
lender?
How do I find a lender, right? These are so many questions that runs through their mind. And so being able to understand that yes, real estate is your profession. Sometimes we're counselors. Sometimes we have to help people
I'm
understand.
psychiatrist.
We need to slow down and remember that this is still a relationship business, that when we can form really great friendships and truly
Hmm.
help our clients go from not buying a home to buying a home, that's a very emotional decision. That's a very great opportunity for you as an agent to build long term relationships,
Relationship.
rapport, that kind of stuff. Taking them through what is a very challenging time in their life is a very important step in being a successful buyer's agent.
And one thing you have to remember, the reality of getting pre approved isn't judgment or final verdict on their future as a homeowner. Sometimes it's about reassure them, if this is your goal, I'll walk you along the way. If it's not today, it can be 6 months, 3 months, a year from now on. But let's help you, because those clients are worth it. Because at the end of the day, we're here to promote homeownership and help our clients build their legacy.
Have a great week.
Thank you very much for watching. See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week.
Yep.